Hi, it's Mr. Ramage, and we're going to learn some more tips and tricks for working in Google Slides. We're going to do some work today on this poster for Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to crop an image. So once I've placed my image on my slide, I'm going to double click that image until I get these black bars here. So the blue squares and the blue dots would allow you to turn the image and to resize the image. But I want to crop the image. When I grab the bar from the top, I should see a black arrow appear. Once I see that black arrow, I can then click and hold, and I can move that arrow down, which is going to crop the image. The grayed out part is the original image, so it shows me where it originally would be, and the now black line represents the cropped portion of the image. Once I've got the image cropped where I want it to be, I hit enter or return, and it will now crop that image for me. And I have now resized it by cropping it. I could also resize it now by adjusting it from the corners. Always remember to drag it from the corners, not from the side, or your image will be skewed. So now I have my image cropped exactly how I want it. The next thing I want to show you is how to manipulate or adjust your image. So I'm going to click on the image again, which then activates this Format Options button. If I click Format Options, I have a menu pop up on the side. I can adjust the image here, size and rotation, its position. I can recolor the image, but I'm going to go to Adjustments. Transparency is something that we can adjust for our image to help create a nice presentation. If I increase the transparency, that means I can now see through that image. It becomes more transparent. The higher I go, the less of that image I'm going to see. If I click off of it, I can get rid of the dots and see what my image might look like. If I go all the way up, it's almost disappeared. So if you're looking to put an image in the background of your slide, you may want to adjust the transparency as you create a layered effect for your presentations. I'm going to go back down to 0. For brightness, it does exactly what it says it does. If I go to the left, I have negative brightness, which makes the image entirely black if I go all the way over. Or if I go all the way up to 100, it becomes completely white. So if I wanted to adjust the brightness of my image, I could move the slider back and forth. And then if I click reset, it'll put it back in the center. I can also adjust the contrast of the image. If I go to the left, it gets darker and grayer with less contrast. If I go up, then there is more contrast with a more stylized look. Again, if I hit reset, it'll take me back to 0. Another cool feature about Google Slides is that it allows you to create layers. Let's say I wanted to circle some of my favorite characters on this poster. How could I do that? If I go up to Insert and select Shape, I'm going to select a circle shape. And let's say I want to circle Han Solo. So I'm going to take my cursor, I'm going to find Han Solo, and I'm going to kind of draw a circle around his head. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I can't see through that circle, so I need to make some adjustments. If I go up here to the toolbar and go to Fill Color, I'm going to select Transparent. That's going to make that shape a transparent shape. But I want to make sure that it is clearly visible. So the next thing is the border color. I'm going to select the border color. I'm going to make it yellow for right now. And then I need to increase the width of that line. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to select 8. Which looks pretty good. So now I can adjust that circle a little bit by moving it around. I can also make it smaller, again, by grabbing the corners. And I'm going to place it right about there. Now, to make sure that the circle stands out a little bit more, I'm going to click on the circle still, go up to my Format Options, and I'm going to select Drop Shadow. And that's going to put a drop shadow around that circle. And I can play with the transparency of the drop shadow, the angle, the distance, and the blur radius. I'm just going to increase the distance up to about 8 or 9. That'll help that circle to stand out a little bit more. And if you look in closely, you can see that there is now a shadow around that circle, and it will stand out a little bit more because of that. If I wanted to insert an arrow pointing to that circle, I can do the same thing. Go back to Insert, Shape, select an arrow. I'm going to want to make it maybe the same color yellow. I'm going to want to put a black line around it. Maybe increase the width of that line, and maybe also add a drop shadow as well to the arrow. And then I can change the arrow a little bit to be pointing to that circle. So those are a few things you can do in Google Slides. You can crop an image, make adjustments to the image in terms of its transparency, brightness, or contrast. And you can also add shapes to enhance your images or to point things out. Remember to add the drop shadow to those images to help them stand out from your original image.